Okay, ringing up Christopher Browell.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for 07769247196. Please leave a message after the tone. When you finish recording, please hang up or press the hash key for more options.
Oh, yes, hello, Mr. Browell. It's Mr. Hussein here, once again leaving yourself a daily voice message asking you, the council or the corporation, to get in touch with us and to give us an update or any information relating to my brother. Today is Thursday, the 19th of October 2023, and it's now been 72 days since you've kidnapped my brother and are holding him at hostage and at ransom and detaining him under unlawful conditions, because clearly it cannot be lawful. Because if it was lawful, you would at least tell me under what legal framework that you worked under in order to secure Talib's abduction, or how you've managed to secure Talib into your custody. The reason you can't tell me this is because you know and I know it's unlawful. As usual, you've done a smash and grab. You've grabbed my brother on the 8th of August, hoping that the situation would deteriorate further. I would end up in prison. You would end up with the custody of my brother. Manningham Housing would end up with the house back again. And the judges would be saved from further incriminating themselves. And all that's kind of now fizzled out and failed, hasn't it? It's been 72 days later. I've not had a mental breakdown as you had anticipated, so you could then offer me help and assistance, as has been the council's game plan for such a long time, to gaslight me, to persecute and oppress me, to ensure that I have a mental breakdown. And that's what you the collective were doing when you, Mr. Christopher Browell, had first come on board in October. I do recall in October that the local authority, in the court protection proceedings on my mother's case, with the assistance of my own solicitor, were looking to state that I lack litigation capacity and have mental health problems and probably having a mental breakdown, which you were trying to induce in me. Now, similarly, you've abducted my brother, you've murdered my mother, and now you're hoping to induce a mental breakdown in me. And as you can see, as you can clearly hear and see, that I'm more resilient than you had ever thought possible. And if anybody else, 99% of the people been put through what I've been put through would clearly have had a mental breakdown, but I'm very, very resilient to having mental breakdowns. Obviously, I'm suffering from depression because you're causing us all this anxiety and distress, calling the police on me, having me arrested, breaking down our family, gaslighting me, going through my relatives and asking them to act as your proxy agents, and then telling them not to speak to me, isolating me. All these things that you're doing, I'm fully aware of, and clearly it's not being effective, is it? You can't get me to have a mental breakdown. You got to understand, the local authority needs to understand, I've been dealing with mental health all my life, and so I am very, very able and competent to deal with mental stresses, the kind of mental stress that you're putting me under. Most people, as I've explained, would crumble and fall, but here I am still standing my ground. Now, it's 72 days later. You have no legal basis to have detained my brother. You have no legal basis to offer him any kind of health care. He does not consent to you taking him. He's not agreed to this. And I'm just mindful of the fact that when you did last take him, and when I say you, obviously, Mr. Browell, I'm not referring to the singular you, but the collective you, namely Nadia Khan, it was Nadia Khan, Sanjeev Singh, Dr. Shamoon Sami, Dr. Nadeem Nasser, with a translator who came down on the 3rd of August. And you had brought the police along and were trying to say to me that you're trying to isolate my brother and speak to him and doing a mental capacity assessment. After you'd done a mental capacity assessment, which clearly showed that my brother did have the requisite mental capacity, you were asking him, Nadia Khan particularly, were asking, no, you have to come with us. And he was saying, no, I don't want to go with you. And he goes, well, you don't have a choice in the matter. We've made a decision. We're going to take you. You have no choice in the matter. So you deprived him of his liberty on the 3rd of August. But that was clearly under a legal framework. There was a legal framework in place that allowed you to take him, and that was under the Mental Health Act. Because obviously I'm the one that's reported to you that he had become very despondent following Adala absconding with all his money. and as a result of which you use that as an opportunity to gain an advantage to yourself, and you're taken, my brother. This time it's been 72 days. You do understand that there are fundamental laws that prohibit you from doing this. The state cannot simply abduct people like this without any recourse, without any kind of understanding, without now engagement. 72 days later, we the family are worried sick about our brother. You're not providing us with any framework, any kind of legal basis. You're refusing to engage with me. And what is your defense? Oh, we put in a vexatious complaint policy for you particularly in place many years later now, and it's still in, don't talk to us. Well, if you don't want me to talk to you, don't kidnap my family members. Thus justifying me needing to speak to you. If you did as I told you to do, discharge my brother, give him his money, and just leave us alone, then we wouldn't have to engage with you. You seem to be under this like mental gymnastics, or there's some sort of mental gymnastics here, where on the one hand you don't want me to speak to you, on the other hand you're necessitating me needing to speak to you, and then you can looking to raise further charges of harassing you, when the reality is that you're being neglectful and not responding. So it's all the same games that you play in it. Just mind games that you're playing in order to gain an advantage. I'm just conscious of the fact that since I believe August 2012,
You have 15 seconds recording time remaining.
I'm just mindful of the fact that since August 2012, you have not been paying him £410.70 in social care money that you were paying him through direct payments to myself, and that's all savings on you, innit? So you're saving substantial amount of money, and yet looking to play these little mental gymnastics.
Your recording time has expired. To leave your message, press 1. To review message, press 2. To re-record message, press 3. To cancel a message and hang up, press 4. Message sent. Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
So in today's session, Mr. Christopher Browell is not even there. His phone switched off, and the reason his phone is switched off is because no doubt he's on holiday. No doubt he's off work. I mean, he knows the fact that I call at 12 o'clock. He knows the fact that I leave a message. He knows the fact that I call on a private number. I actually leave my name, and they know who I am, identify who I am. So they know who I am. He's obviously off at work today. And this is the thing, you see. Anybody that works with Talib, they're not, even though they work as a corporation, they may provide some substitute care staff. They're not there to be consistent. And I'm there consistently for gonna be, I don't have the option to resign or option to remove myself. I'm going to be there for the rest of my brother's life, as long as he needs me, as long as I can be of service to him. These people don't want that. They want to provide their own service provide their own service of care to my brother, and it all comes down to without consent you can't do anything. They can't take my brother from my care without his consent and permission. He clearly does have mental capacity. The only other framework that they can utilize is what they'll utilize in 2018, which is serious concern for Talib, and we need to take him to hospital to provide him with care because he's an endanger to himself or may become a danger to others. That is the only way they can take you without consent. In the absence of that, they need your formal consent. And these actions that they take can alternatively, they can always approach the courts and their own judges to rubber stamp things, as they did in my mother's case, because my mother hadn't consented. It was then clearly identified that there was a clear deprivation of liberty, and therefore they had taken those actions by buying off the judges and the justices in the High Court, in the Court of Protection. But they've not done anything like that this time. They've not approached the judicial system, and obviously the courts don't want to get involved this time. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, I'm not sure, but obviously there's ongoing court proceedings presently underway through the Housing Association, which are being spearheaded by the Housing Association under the direction and instructions of the local authority. So there are already court proceedings underway that have resulted in effectively having my brother being taken. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see that now all of a sudden they're at this moral quandary of don't know what to do. They were anticipating a breakdown in the family, a breakdown in the situation, a breakdown in myself, which would aid and assist them. Then they can come over and say, look, we're the authorities, we're here to help. You're not here to help, man. All we've ever asked from you is give us, respect our rights and leave us alone. Let us live our life with dignity and respect. and leave, and we'll do, we want to live by the laws that you, and we'll live by the laws that you set. But the reality is that they are trying to do fraudulent things. They're trying to do fraudulent, corrupt things that are detrimental to our interests, and it's beneficial to their own financial interests. So they're like trying to have this go on two different lines, one openly and one malevolently. So they're trying to be benevolent and malevolent at the same time, and it's not working. Ridiculous, but what can you do?